You know, this February moment is all about the Aquarian archetype. It's all about Aquarius. What is Aquarius? What does Aquarius mean? We have, at a certain point, 4 traditional planets will be conglomerated in Aquarius, but we'll have 5 planets of the traditional moving through Aquarius in February. And then we got Pluto there that's just ingressed. And so I kind of wanted this video to be a little bit of a meditation or a serious inquiry into what is the Aquarian, because we're going to need our Aquarian. We're going to work with our Aquarian here in February. You know, Aquarius is not that complicated. I mean, every sign has complications. Aquarius has its own complications. It's really 2 planets that rule Aquarius. We're going to look at Mercury and Saturn and how they implicate. So the Aquarian, we've got these 2 planets that implicate the Aquarian. Let's just come into some of the dates now. It's the 9th of February that is that new moon in Aquarius. You know, I'm checking out the chart right here. It's got Mercury, the night triplicity lord of Aquarius, with the sun. It's okay. Let these people walk through, it's fine. With the sun and moon, and so you have the luminaries, the body and the mind, joining with Mercury, that shape-shifting planet of the mental formations. And they're all blending in Aquarius during that new moon moment. And then Saturn and Pisces. Saturn, the planet of the dreamscapes of the Piscean realm. I'm not going to focus too much on the Pisces and the dream realm in this video. I want to stay with Aquarius. What does Aquarius mean? And that Mercury is with this new moon on the 9th, gives it extra power to feel into the mercurial qualities of the Aquarian. Now, there's been some debates recently on X-Twitter about what planets can inform us about the Aquarian archetype, and I think we can go all the way back to the original texts we have. Not that the texts need to be worshipped, but we can take, for example, the astrologer Paulus Alexandrinus, who, when he lists the nature of the signs in Paulus's astrology, he lists the fundamental characteristics, which include, look, walk through here in a second. Are we live? Okay. So the Aquarian archetype, Paulus Alexandrinus is very instructive for what we call signology, understanding the archetypes of a sign. It's an essential feature of astrology because any planet will always be in a sign, and that planet will express through the archetype of that sign, okay? Something we call signology. Sometimes we look down upon that, or there can be a tendency to say, oh, that's just pop astrology. Well, actually, that's pretty foundational in the tradition. And so you go to the Paulus, it's the 2nd chapter of his text. The 2nd chapter, he just comes right out and says, here's the sign. What is the nature of the sign? We look at many things, but primarily we look at the modality of the sign. Is it cardinal, fixed, mutable? We look at the element of the sign. We look at the gender of the sign. Of course, we can problematize gender in our current context as much as we need to, but we look at the ruling planets. And Paulus is darn clear. He lists not just the domicile lord, which of Aquarius is Saturn. He lists the triplicity lords, and only 2 of them, the night and the day triplicity lords. So Paulus is using something akin to the whole sign rulership method that I like. And so for Aquarius, there's only 2 planets listed by Paulus when he's listing the essential components of Aquarius. That is to say, the things we would need to understand to process the Aquarian, and that is Mercury and Saturn. And that's why I want to focus on these 2 planets here in this video. And for this new moon moment, Mercury joining the luminaries in Aquarius, joining Pluto in Aquarius for this new moon on the 9th of February. And so it's not just the new moon on the 9th, it's 13 February, Mars enters Aquarius, and we get an active force that's filtering through the Aquarian archetype. It's 16 February that Venus enters Aquarius, and we get the beauty facilities wanting to process through the Aquarian. And so we need to contemplate, what is this symbol? And I think let's start with Mercury, because Mercury is a shapeshifter. It's a shape-shifting planet of the mental formations. There's one component of Mercury I've been thinking so much about recently, which is the idea of morphology, of changing form, and the necessity of changing form when there is a survival, necessity. So in the life, we always have to shift states. I mean, often there's a mercurial necessity. You may have to enter a new room, and people might be perceiving you differently, and you may have to change the expressions, change your phraseology. They call it code shifting at times, or speech shifting, and we all are doing it out of necessity at any given moment of time. But I think that morphological feature of Mercury, the way that we can put on different identities, becomes even more important in the Aquarian because Saturn is the domicile lord, and Saturn is that great oppressive energy, that dark energy that can descend, and that out of necessity, which is a Saturnine keyword, we have to deploy Mercury. Innovate, morph, change, and deploy new formations as a survival strategy against the backdrop of these heavier structures of society. So there's that component I want to encourage you to do. Find your Aquarius whole sign house, and those house themes, you may need to be shifting a little bit here and trying on new hats, especially with the powerful Mercury joining that new moon. There might be the birth of some kind of new approach for you in that Aquarian whole sign house. So review those topics. But secondly, we've got to look at this other side of Aquarius, and give me a second, keep it rolling. I'm going to think about where I wanted to go here. Okay, it's the nature of the technology. And these were the debates that were happening on X Twitter. People were like, no, it's not technology, it's not technology. And listen, I don't believe there's any right answers in astrology per se. I mean, everybody's got their own ways to practice, and we need to make room for that. But I think when we use the Alexandrinus approach, when we attach Mercury to Aquarius, which is natural and has been what astrologers have done continuously for thousands of years, it's clear that innovation, which is a keyword Valens assigns to Mercury, is part of Aquarius. We innovate. And this is why technology to me maybe is more Aquarian than any other sign of the zodiac. And it's because, yes, it's the air element, which is a masculine sign. We're out in the outer world now. We're trying to reformulate things outside of ourselves and with other people. That's the air element. But the Saturnine nature of Aquarius and the fixed nature of Aquarius implies innovations that last, innovations that stick with us. Pure Mercury innovation can just die away like a puff of smoke in the air, it's gone. You need the Saturn to make a technological advancement. Think about the technologies in our life and in our time. What's the number one thing that comes to mind when you think technology? World Wide Web, World Wide Web. Go to the root chart of the World Wide Web, 91, 92, 93. But that root chart has Saturn in Aquarius. It required Saturn coming to Aquarius to establish a deep structure of an innovation that then would transform society. And you look up definitions of technology, they imply it's that which changes society. That's not Mercury. That's not the shape-shifting Mercury that's fast-moving. That's the deep structure of Saturn that technology requires a heavy dose of. And so there is a technological component to this moment in time, right here in February, right as the Aquarian begins to activate and these stelliums emerge, hitting Pluto in that first degree of Aquarius all through February, all of these planets that will move through there. It's the other last element that this video is about, is thinking about your own innovations, your own new ideas that you can deploy to shift and morph and to ride these waves of an ever-changing reality. But two, what about the new technologies? Where are you at with these new technologies? And it's not a cult of AI or anything like that. This is simply a tool set. I mean, think about this famous Paul Krugman quote. Paul Krugman says, the internet will go the way of the fax machine, something like in 97. And we know he's flat wrong. I mean, the internet changes everybody's life. Everybody uses it all day, every day. There are technologies like that I would encourage you to interface with now. And I think AI is one of them. Instead of AI, which has a negative connotation, how about LLM, large language models? And you can use these to accelerate your research, for example. You can learn about things fast. These are bodies of knowledge and techniques of getting knowledge, right? Mercury again. And so you might think about where are you at with some of these new technologies coming online. Or if you're a hard critic of this stuff, maybe articulate your critique, write about your critique. Try to more deeply kind of attack these new technologies and express their risks to all of us who are interfacing with them maybe more than you as a critic. And so that's my message here. You know, get into your Aquarian, think about the newness, think about people around you and the structures of those relationships and maybe the new emergences that you can embrace here. February 2024, ride these waves. An important aspect, the most maybe, of this moment here in February 2024 is that these faster moving planets, these traditional planets, Mercury, Mars, and Venus, as they meet Pluto, what degree are they meeting Pluto in? The first degree of Aquarius. Aquarius 1 or 0 degrees Aquarius, which is the most important degree of our age for the next 20 years because that's the degree that Saturn and Jupiter met on the winter solstice 2020, and it ushered in this great shifting of our age into this technical, airy age. We call it the age of air astrologers, which means that ideas can move fast through the world, which means that I can connect with you in real time right now. This mic just came out, these little Rode Me mics. They're beautiful mics. It really improves the quality, you know, and I can move here and share messages throughout the globe. You got it on X Twitter, you got it on Instagram, you got it on YouTube. And so we're in an age of air, the way that ideas can flow and move fast. And that is just an example of not only the Aquarian technological stuff I was just speaking about, but there's a more important focus here in February 2024 on the greater arc of time, on this greater movement into the technological and the age of air. And we say technology, technology, technology. Let's throw that keyword out, because people say, no, it's not technology. Let's just throw it out then. And we're left with, what is the air element? It's the mind formations that then get deployed through the society over longer distances, AKA a pamphlet, a book of a pamphlet. Remember Thomas Paine, Pluto and Aquarius, as it's coming into Aquarius in the 18th century, they're pamphleteering. They're moving ideas fast through the society with the new technology of the printing press. There again, I use the word technology, but the new tool of the printing press. And this is the nature of the moment. So what are the ideas you want to move into your reality? What ideas do you want to attach yourself to and let move through you? This is the time in February 2024 to consider those things. And just get excited. You know, you live in maybe the most wondrous time in human history in certain ways. Take that on, own that, and let yourself move with your power and the power of the realm that we've incarnated into and what this realm is offering us at this moment in time. Move into that power, because that's a key word for Saturn. Saturn is power, and the Aquarian is a Saturnine energy ultimately, which is a great, powerful force, an unmovable force. And I don't know which astrologer said that it's a medieval Islamic astrologer. It goes around X Twitter every so often, but the gifts that Saturn give can't be taken. These are the powerful, unmovable forces that Saturn can imply. Think about that as you're deciding what ideas to spread or to allow to be spread through you here in February 2024. Talk soon. Have a great one.